Well, there's been a recent renaissance of a new art form that brings a whole new definition to the Queen City. In celebration of Pride Month, we sat down with some of the most prominent drag queens of Buffalo to discuss how the scene started and what it looks like today. Take a look. We celebrate Pride Month. We see many celebrations with performances from drag queens. But how did this form of entertainment begin?
During the days of the Romans and also during Shakespeare, women couldn't be on stage, so the roles were played by men. So like Romeo and Juliet was actually Romeo and Julian. And even into the 1800s, it still was the same thing. Women were not allowed on stage.
I asked a local drag queen legend, Siobhan Davis, what she knows about where the term drag queen came from.
Back in Europe during Queen Victoria's time, when there'd be big gay balls, and some of the men would dress up, and they would wear these huge gowns that would be dragging on the floor, and people would say, "What, you think you're the queen?" And that's where the term drag queen came from.
Siobhan Davis is one of the most tenured drag queens still performing in Buffalo, but she says she wasn't the first one here.
In Buffalo, the earliest thing that I'm aware of was back around the 1930s when the burlesque houses were going. Many of them were on Main Street in Buffalo, and with one of them there was a queen called Tangera. She was legendary. She was a hoot, and she would be an exotic dancer type thing, but nobody knew that she was a man. Had they known about it, it wouldn't have turned out so good for her.
Siobhan discovered drag at an early age.
Back in the 1950s and 60s, that's when drag shows started. There was a bar on Bailey Avenue called Frank's Casanova. My parents were part owners of it. And I remember as a little kid going, "She's pretty. And Mommy, how did you get Judy Garland here tonight? I thought she was dead." So that's where I first found out about drag queens.
Born to perform, Siobhan, from a young age, took to the stage as a singer, but quickly had to find another means of expression.
As a child, I was a really good singer, and I was the star of all the high school musicals, and then something happened, and I lost my voice. So this was like an expression for me.
Siobhan explains back when she was starting drag and for many years after, things were not like today.
You couldn't do shows in a bar. It just wasn't, unless you had like an entertainment license. They would do them in church halls or VFW post or somebody's basement or backyard. They would have that, but they had to be very careful with their advertising because many nights we got raided by the police. And in the middle of winter, you stand in a bar and you have to take everything off, everything, to prove you're a man. You can go pick up your clothes down at the police station.
Through all the discrimination Siobhan and others faced, she knew she had to keep fighting.
In 1982, Buffalo had their sesquicentennial parade. It was the 150th anniversary of the founding of the city. I wanted to have a gay float in the parade to represent the community of Buffalo. Drag queens and doctors, nurses, police officers, everything. And the mayor, Jimmy Griffin, said no.
She got some lawyers together who helped her sue the city, and she got her float, creating history in the Queen City.
And that was the first gay-type float with drag queens going down Delaware Avenue in June.
It took another 14 years after that radical moment in Buffalo's history before the city had its first Pride Parade, and Siobhan looks back in awe of that prolific moment too.
I'm on the steps of City Hall doing, not realizing at the time, I'm making history right now. I'm the first drag queen to do perform on City Hall steps.
I asked Siobhan how it felt for her celebrating at the 2024 Buffalo Pride Parade after being a trailblazing force from the start.
I get emotional because I'll see all these families, gay families and straight families with their kids, and all these people, and then you get these young kids, the parade is led off by all the high school groups, the young kids, and it's like, when I was your age, we couldn't do that. And then I see families marching, and I see all these corporate, the banks and law offices and bars, straight bars, gay bars, and it's like they're allies, they're supporting us. They're taking a chance because they could have, I'm a customer and I don't like this, but they're doing it. And it's the Buffalo Pride Parade is the longest parade in Western New York. It's the biggest parade as far as people marching in it. And it's also the biggest crowd watching a parade.
Drag queens like Siobhan have paved the way for other queens like Will-O-the-Wisp and Winter Storm, allowing them to embrace their queerness.
It is such an honor and such a humbling experience to be working along people like Siobhan Davis. They want you to be on your A game. They want you to be the best version of you. And sometimes it can be a little hard to hear, you're not doing this right, or doesn't look good. But without those critiques or without that guidance, I wouldn't be as glamorous as I am today.
And you're quite glamorous.
Thank you. Same to you.
Winter Storm has been a performing drag queen for almost a decade and describes Buffalo's drag scene as an array of talent.
Oh, it's so diverse. It's so diverse. Like, every queen has their own style, their own makeup look. It's such a melting pot in Buffalo with drag.
A melting pot with talents like Willa DeWisp, who reflects on what pride means to her.
Honestly, pride means being open and honest and authentic with yourself in a way that allows you to fight against people who just hate you for being who you are.
The North Tonawanda High School graduate came out the summer before her freshman year at Princeton University, which turned out to be a weight lifted she didn't know was there.
I didn't realize how much it weighed on me and my mental health in my life until I was just out living my authentic self, and it just felt good.
If you're thinking about trying drag, here's some advice from the professionals.
Earn your dues. Nobody starts out as a star. It's an art to become somebody else. It's not just putting on, a wig and throwing some makeup on. You have to make the person believe.
Just like an actor, you have to step into the role. Siobhan describes herself as
wealthy suburban housewife who used to be a big Hollywood star, but she never made it. That's like my persona that I do.
Like Siobhan, Willa explains the unique art form of drag transpires into something so much bigger for a human experience.
Our drag is just a bunch of wet clay that we're trying to mold into something. Who I am sitting here as Willa is not too crazy or too far off from how I feel as a boy, but the confidence is stronger, the energy is higher. Like, wearing this feels like a whole set of armor that people will accept a lot easier rather than if I was just in my normal human form.
Siobhan and other drag queens' fearlessness and commitment to creating a better space for the queer community in Buffalo has led to another generation feeling safe enough to be unapologetically themselves.
They paved the way for a lot of us girls in Buffalo, where like now I feel confident to walk down the street even as a trans woman, or if I'm walking to a gig with a little bit more crazy makeup, I feel okay to do that too, because they've instilled that confidence and I feel like they've also worked in the community.
Siobhan's only hope is that generations of queens to come continue to uplift each other.
I mean, I'm always doing that too. When somebody's going out on stage, I'll look and go, oh, you're losing a nail. Here's some nail glue. Fix your nail. Or wait a minute, stop. You have toilet paper on your shoe. Or let me get your zippers falling down. Help each other out. Again, doing stuff for the community. And I hope that the next generation does that.
Well, you can support our local drag community by following them on social media and checking out all of their events.